Here's how the Jewish Chronicle's fabricated reporting and its relationship with BBC board member Robbie Gibb is putting the public broadcaster's impartiality under scrutiny.
The Jewish Chronicle, frankly, as has been shown by the revelation that it employed a journalist who was party to fabricating 9 stories, has been nothing short of an activist outlet that essentially echoes and reinforces, amplifies the messages that comes out not just from Israel, but particularly the lines taken by the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu.
Robbie Gibb sits on the BBC's board of Editorial Standards Committee, and up until the 20th of August 2024, just a month ago, he was the sole director of the Jewish Chronicle, something that was stated as a declaration of personal interest in his BBC bio. His responsibilities, according to the BBC, include acting in the public interest and exercising independent judgment. The Jewish Chronicle just earlier this month published articles based on fabricated documents by an author who was a former Israeli soldier.
So for Robbie Gibb, in that position, who is obviously central to the Jewish Chronicle, he led the consortium that took it over, but we don't know who was financially backing this. For him to be in any way involved, as he has been, with editorial standards and coverage of the Middle East, is a clear conflict of interests. Yes, he did declare this, but he should not have participated, as he has done, in any discussions about BBC coverage of the Middle East. I think that going forward, the BBC, the chairman of the BBC, he's newly appointed, needs to be very robust. Robbie Gibb cannot be involved in the corporation's discussions on the Middle East, involved in any way.
And these are not the only things that Gibb has come under scrutiny for. She didn't name him directly, but former BBC newsreader Emily Maitlis branded Robbie Gibb as an active agent for the Tory party at the BBC.
Put this in the context of the BBC board, where another active agent of the Conservative Party, a former Downing Street spin doctor and former advisor to BBC rival GB News, now sits, acting as the arbiter of BBC impartiality. According to the Financial Times, he's attempted to block the appointment of journalists he considers damaging to government relations, provoking Labour's deputy leader, among others, to call it Tory cronyism at the heart of the BBC.
So Robbie Gibb is now the sole director of a company that provides consulting services to the Jewish Chronicle, whilst he still sits on the board of editorial guidelines at the BBC.
So the BBC's reputation is at stake, action needs to be taken, and before they review any further coverage, I think it's time for Robbie Gibb to stand down from his position on the BBC board.